Welcome everyone to another episode of Modern Wong Chat. Tonight we have the amazing Pamela Horton. I'm gonna bring her on and let's talk. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those people who do not know what you do.
I think like the basic me is I was actually born here in California, Los Angeles area. And then at about the age of 9, I moved to Kansas where I moved around a bunch and got that Wichita area,
Mm,
Midwest, small community raising in Clearwater, Kansas, where I graduated high school, went to Wichita State University, majored in psychology. And as I said before we started the stream, I had a double minor, and one of the minors was in Greek mythology. And I had the intention of being an art therapist. But when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a concept designer or concept artist in video games because I've been playing games since I was 5 years old. I made the plunge, moved to LA, and got my foot in the door in gaming. I dabbled a little bit in modeling. But it's when people ask me how I got into modeling, I always say I tripped and fell because it was never something I pushed for. I never pursued it actively. It just happened. I literally the way that I was actually discovered as a model, I was on MySpace back
oh,
in those days. I took a selfie and this gonna sound super creepy, but a photographer in the Wichita area was like, if you can take selfies like that, I can't even imagine what you could do in front of the camera.
dang.
And so that's the first time I ever modeled at the ripe old age of 18. And then now I'm working in gaming as a host and a streamer and a content creator and health advocate.
Tell me more about gaming and hosting. How is that like?
It actually, like, again, another situation where I kinda tripped and fell into it. It was a stepping stone to get in to do what I wanted to do, which was, get into game development and, again, art or community or PR. I've always just wanted to work in gaming companies, but since, I started gaming, I learned really quickly how complicated and some companies don't take very good care of their employees. And I
Mm,
learned that the hard way. There's a couple big companies that have burned me hardcore, and not just like one or two or three times, like 11 times.
okay.
And so I don't think I could get into dev anytime soon.
Maybe
But
start your own.
Oh, that sounds even more stressful than joining a company that's already established. It stresses me out thinking about it. But as far as hosting, I mean, I one of the things that I love and one of the reasons that I studied art therapy in college is I love people. I love meeting people, I love talking to people. I like
Mhm.
cheering people up and making people feel good about themselves because I feel like we live in a world now where a lot of people just tear each other down. It's like the
Mhm.
me first mentality. And so one of my favorite ways to host is event hosting. I like to like I can do studio hosting, I can do teleprompter, I can do live feed, I could do all that stuff, but
Mhm.
where I thrive is at events on the floor live or doing segments with unscripted interviews. Like I think that's my favorite, especially game devs who are super excited about their game releases,
Do
which
you
is,
still get questioned a lot about your gaming skill and knowledge?
yes, all the time.
How far are we away from that happening from women in gaming?
I think I got taken more seriously when I cut off my hair, for starters, because it was like, again, more feminine looking meant no. But also, too, like I've seen the stereotype. I knew models who were like, oh my God, yeah, I play video games too. And I'm like, oh, what do you play? Like, I'm like, I want to relate. Yeah, let's talk
Mhm.
games. I'm excited. She's like, I like to play Call of Duty. And I'm like, which one? She's like, like the most recent Call of Duty. And I'm like, you like video games, but you can't name the most recent Call of Duty. There's a reason that stereotype
Mm.
exists. It sucks, but yeah, especially in LA and entertainment, there's a lot of people in the industry that want to tell you what you want to hear so that they'll be picked up for roles or they'll be discovered or picked up by an agent or
And it
signed to
worked
a
though. That's a
contract.
problem too, because it's push and pull, right? There are people who has to pretend because then some companies like, oh yeah, they play games and they're hot. Yeah, let's just have her on the show.
Yeah, there's a couple instances when I did a couple, interviews with me as the interviewee instead of the interviewer for, like, a couple magazines and online publications where they found out that I was a model who was also a gamer, and they were like, "Oh, this is rich. Hold on." I mean, like, not that I doubt that you're a gamer or anything, but do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? And I'm like, "About what?" And they're like, kind of like a quiz. I'm like, "Are you serious? You're gonna quiz me on gaming? Like, what is this?" And they asked me about Pac-Man and asteroids and, name 3 gaming systems, and I felt, like, sincerely offended that I wasn't taken seriously because I was a model. It's like I didn't become a model because that's what I wanted to be, but I became a gamer because that's what I've always wanted to be, and that's what I've always been. I don't know how quickly that's gonna change. I feel like we're reaching a cusp. We're
Mhm.
getting there. We're getting there. We're not quite there, but it still happens sometimes, but not as much now.
You
Ugh.
went through a lot of health issue. Give us a little bit
Yeah.
about like how are you right now, by the way, and
Um,
how were you?
so right now I have a I technically have 5 surgeries coming up at the end of April. I'm really close with the team that takes care of me,
Mm,
and they trust me because a lot of times, it's the job of people who work in the ER to try to gauge if someone's trying to just get pain meds. But my medical team, like, they know anytime I say something's wrong,
mhm,
something is wrong. There has never been a time that I've stayed at the hospital or gone to the ER where something wasn't incredibly wrong, including prophylactic surgery where I had my hysterectomy. Like,
mm,
nothing technically was wrong. I have what is called Lynch syndrome, which is hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer, which
mm,
is a genetic cancer. And I was born with it. Like, can't do anything, can't get rid of it, can't go into remission. It's just a cancer that I constantly have and increases my risk of other cancers. Peaches and cream is not what life is. Like, and one of the strongest and most greatest, bestest, wonderfulest things that you can do for yourself is understand who you are. Like, study yourself, spend time for self love. I know it sounds super like hippie-ish. If
mhm,
you understand who you are and where your boundaries are, nobody can make you cross a line that makes you uncomfortable, because too
mhm,
often now in this world we have people that are changing themselves because of others. Live life for you, because at the end of the day, when you're getting ready to slide into your grave, what are your last thoughts going to be? How many likes did you get on an Instagram post? No, it's going to be, why didn't I do this thing? Why didn't I live my life for me? And not even in a
mm.
selfish way, but like getting rid of toxic people in your life and, living life for yourself, wearing what you want, being who you are, like really are, instead of subjecting yourself to the judgment and stereotypes of others. And I think that I've always put out that, like, I'm gonna be me and no one's gonna mess with that.
Standing next to you, every time I feel like she's so strong. I feel like I'm motivated, but also feel weak at the same time. It's like, oh wow.
No, don't like, I feel like a lot of people try to, like, they try to compare, and everybody's life experience is subjective. You are the best Martin and I'm the best Pam, and you can't compare Martin to Pam because Martin's not Pam and Pam's not Martin. So, like, you've had your own struggles and life is subjective. Like, don't downplay your experiences or what you've been through just because you don't think it's been as hard as what I've been through. What might have been hard for me may have been easy for you, and what might have been hard for you might have been easy for me. So, I think that
I
that's something
agree.
that I wish to impart on people is don't compare yourself to other people, you know?
And that's the same
Life is
for
subjective.
happiness and sadness. Just because someone is happy doesn't mean you can't be happy too. And same thing for sad.
Yeah.
Someone else sad doesn't mean you're not allowed to be sad as well. Because people always feel
Yeah.
comparisons like, oh, someone has it way worse than you. It's like, yes, they might be
Yeah.
in a worse
Like, there's
situation, but doesn't
there's
invalidate
children in Africa kind of
always.
situation.
Always.
But
Yeah. Hmm.
no, like, life is subjective, and just analyze how your life is going on, how it's happening, and set up small goals, long-term goals, and just live life for you, and, realize that life's not gonna happen for you. You have to make it happen.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you get to share your story. I had a great time. Hopefully, you had a great time too.
Thank you
So,
for having me, Martin. I always like talking to you. You're a fun guy.
everyone, thank you so much for joining. I'll see y'all later. Bye.